Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hope all is well. The one that tune in. Remember, this is a channel Equalizer for Justice. Going to be getting into the mindset of the incarcerated. You all have heard my stories or the actual events about the mindset of the incarcerated. People that have been incarcerated, how it changes their way of thinking, their outlook on certain things as well. So today, early this morning, I'm going to be giving a small talk about the mindset of the incarcerated. I'm not going to wait for anyone to come up because this is one of my talks that I'm going to do and I can share to my groups, mainly for the mothers incarcerated, mothers that have loved ones incarcerated. Let me get that correct. We know that being incarcerated or being in prison, how it can rewire the mind or rewire the brain set, the function that goes on. However, prison doesn't just change where a person lives, it changed way far more than that. And I want to explain the best of my ability so the mothers of the loved ones that's incarcerated can understand upon them coming home to a new environment, a new setting, where they can get somewhat of a picture of what they're going to be dealing with and how to be patient with the one who have just exited from the prison system, and also be patient with the ones that still remains behind the fences or the walls or in the penitentiary. We know that over time, things can change how we think. Mainly when you is in what they consider a controlled environment. And the reason most of us mind or brain become rewired not because we are weak or they are weak. It's because the environment we actually rewards certain behaviors and punishes others. Every day the brain adapts to survive, even in what we call the free world. But mainly I'm giving a lecture on just the incarcerated. Because being incarcerated, once you enter into the system, the brain starts to adapt and how to survive. Every day the brain adapts to certain environments. It learns constantly how to scan a room, how to scan an environment. That person brain actually notice who just walked in. Hey God, so glad you up, bro. I was doing a lesson on the mindset of the incarcerated. And it's not going to be long. It's just something that I'm going to share with my groups where I can send out so they can play back and they can understand the mindset of the incarcerated, how it rewires the brain function and the mind. Like I said, every day the brain adapts to survive. It learns constantly how to scan certain things, what to watch out for, what to notice, who's watching, who's acting differently. It learns to stay emotionally guarded. We know that prison actually works on the psyche, the mind. While incarcerated, you learn to think before you speak. You learn how to hide the fear. You learn how to control your anger. You actually learn how to avoid becoming an easy target. This is your natural survival instincts. After enough time, those survival habits stop feeling temporary. They actually become something of what your innate nature is, what you do. They become automatic. The brain also adjusts to a world with very little personal control. Remember, the brain also adjusts to a world with very little personal control because someone else decides when you wake up, when you eat, when the lights goes off, even when you shower, and basically how you move, meaning how you get around the camp or how you get around this facility. So when you see your family or when you go outside, it actually controls you so much to it actually program you to understand that you no longer have the ability to see your family at will. Someone else's tells you when you see your family. So to the mothers of the incarcerated, I want you to please understand what I'm saying. I'm hoping that I am speaking clearly enough so one can understand. Hey, Graham, good to see you, brother. Good to see you, Mr. T and Dragon Classic. It also trains you to know when to go outside. That's something that like reverting back to a child, or when you once were a kid, when your mother or your father or one of your loved ones would actually tell you when you were to go outside. This is what the incarcerated goes through. This is the mindset of the incarcerated. So over months and years, that constant loss of control can reshape how a person approaches everyday life. So mothers of the incarcerated, of the loved ones, remember, your loved one have went through months, some have went through years, and that situation constant controls and reshape how they approaches everyday life. Many of them become hypervigilant. Their minds stay alert even when there's no immediate danger. Ask some of the ones that have paroled out or have EOS their sentences, how they stay on what they say, the alert, the guard alert, the stranger danger phrase that some use. They watch body language. They actually listen to the changes in tones, attention to sounds other people ignore. These are the things that the mothers of the incarcerated are dealing with. So I'm trying to break it down, give them some understanding of how they would be able to make that transition and how to handle or deal with the loved one that has just been released. And those habits can remain long after they release. The things that I have said can last way longer because the brain has spent years treating awareness as a survival requirement. This doesn't happen to everyone in the same way now. Every person responds differently based on their experiences, based on their sentences, based on the length of time they have done while incarcerated. It also is based on mental health and the conditions where they were incarcerated at. Different prisons have different rules and have different circumstances that goes on. So you must get some type of form of what your loved one is going through while he or she is incarcerated. However, one thing is consistent. The human brain adapts to the environment it's forced to survive in. So you might ask why my loved one is acting this way, but he wasn't acting that way a month ago or a year ago. Because the environment that this person is put in, his brain or his mind is forced to survive in. So we must be patient with our loved ones that's entering into society. Prison isn't just a place that confines the body. Remember, I talked about this on previous um, lectures about prison isn't just a place that confines the body. It mainly confines the psyche, the psychological effect of what goes on. Over time, it can reshape the mind as well as the body. That's why understanding incarceration requires looking beyond the bars and into deep psychological survival skills, what they have went through. So pay attention when your loved one calls home and the conversations might change, or he or she might sound a little differently. Pay attention when you go to the visitation yard and you visit them. Pay attention to when they doesn't write the letters out anymore, but they go on the tablet and they can correspond with their loved ones that way. So we must pay attention to those things as well. Because it is very important. So like I said, this lecture is not long. It is just for me to come up and give a short, brief explanation of the mindset of the incarcerated. Because in my groups, I have a lot of mothers is very concerned about their loved ones. Okay, Krim say, but Krim, I'm hoping that I explained myself very well. However, if I didn't, I would like for you all to put in the chat and ask me what I missed or what I should expound more on in this lecture, because this lecture is actually going out to one of the groups that I am in called the Mothers of the Incarcerated Individuals. It's going to other groups as well, but it's mainly going to them so they can get somewhat of an understanding of what the loved one might witness, might go through while incarcerated. Okay, Krim, thank you, brother. Because you all know that my speech sometimes slur, and I have to repeat myself once in a while. However, I try to deliver the message to the best of my capabilities. For the ones that don't know, that I have a few issues that I deal with when it comes to uh, the memory, and that sometimes come with the aging process, or it comes with this basic inherited health issues. But I hope I was very clear on what I have said. I hope the information that I have given out was very informative. I hope that it can relieve the minds of some of the mothers that has loved ones incarcerated. I hope that my message was sent out to the ones in the chat, that they can spread it abroad and give more input on it and share it as well. So with that, I will be getting off now, and hopefully I will be returning at a later date, a later time, to give more information on the mindset of the incarcerated. Thank you all for coming up in the chat. The ones that is not in the chat, thank you very well for just showing your support. I thank you all for that. Until next time, God bless and be safe.